I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone! So I thought I would do another kids book little vlog. This is really heavy. I have acquired some new picture books and I have some junior fiction middle grade titles. A couple are review copies that come out early in July. Others are just things that I've picked up and acquired and I need to read. So I thought I would spend a couple of hours this afternoon just reading through some kids books and letting you guys know which ones I get to. So I will read a book, let you know about it, read the next book, etc. It's going to be a very chill little, very short snippet reading vlog, but just focused on kids books because I need to get through some of these and take them into work because I don't really have room for them here. So yes, we are going to jump straight into it. I'm not sure when this video is going to go live. It might be a couple of weeks after I actually film this, but fingers crossed it goes up sooner rather than later. Okay, so the first book that I read was Pig the Rebel by Blabey. If you do not know, Pig the Pug is a very long-running, very well-loved, very funny series about a pug called Pig who is very, very naughty. And this is the most recent release, Pig the Rebel. And finally, all of his antics have caught up with him and Pig has been sent to obedience school, except of course, once he gets to obedience school, he decides, oh no, I cannot do this. I'm not going to follow orders. And he gets himself into a lot of trouble. I get the feeling that this might be the last book in the series. I don't know, that just the way that it ended made it seem like that, but who knows. I have most of the series at school and I really love them. I love reading them with the kids. They find them absolutely hilarious because they're rhyming picture books, but I don't have all of them, so I'm gonna have to work out which ones I don't have and get the rest for my collection because these are definite favorites in our classroom. All right, so book number 2 is Anzac Ted by Belinda Landsberry. This is a book I've used quite often in my classroom because it does help to explain Anzac Day to very young children, but it's a book that I haven't owned a copy of myself, and I picked this up at the Shrine of Remembrance the last time I visited, and I was really glad to see it there because I've been meaning to get a copy for myself, and I'm glad that that was the place where I bought it. So Anzac Ted tells the story of a young boy who has Anzac, who is his teddy, and he loves Anzac dearly and often takes him into school, but no one really likes him because Anzac is a beat up teddy. He is missing ears, he's damaged, he's old. But what we find out is that Anzac has a long history in this child's family. He was his grandfather's teddy bear and he went off to the war with his grandfather, and so it has this long history. And so it's a really gentle way to talk about Anzac Day and the diggers and everything that happened during World War I through a teddy bear, which is something that's very relatable to kids. There is a really gorgeous page at the back of the book that does actually explain Anzac history for children. It has enough detail without being too in-depth that it is great to read with the young kids, but overall mostly it's the picture book that is something that we would use with 5 and 6 year olds because it's very accessible. So if I'm looking a little disheveled or get more disheveled as I go, I'm also doing laundry at the same time as reading. So yes, but the next book that I read was The Very Hungry Caterpillar's Australian Feast, which is a lift the flap children's book. It is absolutely gorgeous and it goes through some iconic Australian fruits and treats and things like that. It's really sweet. Sorry about the glare, but on each page you've got little lift the flaps that talk about some Australian foods. Cheese in Australia is very different to cheese in the States, just FYI. And fairy bread. I love fairy bread. But yeah, it's really cute. I love these lift the flaps. They're pretty sturdy, so I think it will survive relatively well in the classroom. Okay, next on my list was Looking After Country with Fire by Victor Steffenson. And this one was written in conjunction with Uncle Q, who is an Aboriginal elder. And this one is all about sustainable burning, so cool fire burning, which the Aboriginal people of Australia have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years to look after the land, because Australia is known for its wildfires and bushfires, because when the land gets really dry and we get really seasonally hot weather, we often get fires, whereas the Aboriginal people knew how to sustainably burn to prevent that from actually ever occurring, and how it's taken time for the white people to essentially listen to the knowledge from the Aboriginal elders, because of course it did. But this was really great. I think this is a really good one for sort of middle and upper school age kids to learn about cool fires and sustainable burning of the land and all of that. So really enjoyed it. I hadn't seen this one before when I saw it at the Royal Botanical Gardens gift shop, so I'm glad I picked it up. You guys have seen me talk about this one before. I think I've got a separate video for it, but I'm going to reread it today because I finally got a physical copy. But I just opened it up and It's really lovely to see. It's been personalised to me, so thank you very much, Dani. So I just reread My Extraordinary Mum, and I love this still. It's a really gorgeous book. It is about a mum who is fun and quirky, but above all else is extraordinary and teaches those lessons to her child. And it's just so much fun. There's plenty of great messages. It's one that you probably wouldn't rush through reading with kids. You'd spend some time unpacking each page and coming back to it. I just love it. And I love that in the illustrations there is a lot of really cool things going on. My favorite page, and I'll show you in a minute, is one that just showcases the diversity of people in our lives. And I love that that is a page in this book because it opens up the possibility for plenty of good discussions. I mean, just have a look at this. It's great. Okay, so I read the first of 2 Jon Klassen books. This is We Found a Hat. This is one that a guest came and read to my class earlier in the term. I didn't have a copy of it, so I found one for myself. I forgot that this was part of a trilogy, so I've got 2 books out of the 3 that feature the hat. And this is about 2 turtles who find a hat. They're best friends. They both like the hat. They both try on the hat. They're very complimentary of each other wearing the hat, but there is only one hat, and it is up to them to decide what to do with this hat. And it's just a glorious little book. And also what I really like is the simplicity of the language. It's literally a conversation between the 2 of them. There's no extra stuff going on, no extra description. It's just the pictures and the conversation, and it's a really good conversation starter. Okay, so I just read the other Jon Klassen book, I Want My Hat Back. This is about a bear who is looking for his lost hat. He asks everyone and then realizes that he has actually seen his hat, and he goes back to get it. This one had an unexpected end. It's a little bit violent, but you know, not on page violence, just, you know, someone gets eaten because he's a bear. Yeah, it was really fun. I actually haven't read this one. I thought I had, but clearly I have not. It was nice to read something new. All right, so next up is Franklin and Luna and the Book of Fairy Tales by Jen Campbell. Jen Campbell actually has a YouTube channel and she is awesome. I love following her videos. But this is part of her Franklin and Luna series. Franklin is a dragon, Luna is his best friend. And in this story, it is Franklin's birthday and he's worried everyone's forgotten his birthday, but really everyone's planning a surprise party, and Luna distracts him by taking him to an old bookshop. While they're there, they accidentally get sucked into a book into the land of fairy tales, and then they meet a whole host of fairy tale characters along the way, and it is really cool. I love the way that Jen Campbell has played with fairy tale characters and just woven this story together. The Franklin and Luna books are just so gorgeous. I absolutely love them. I have at least 2 of them in the classroom, and I'm very, very excited to take this in because I just started reading them with my class at the end of last term, and I know that they would be very excited for more stories. So the next picture book I read was Sulwe by Lupita Nyong'o, who is the actress, and I love her, and I loved this book. It was absolutely gorgeous. This one was illustrated by Vashti Harrison, and it is simply stunning. Sulwe is the main character in this story, and she's feeling very disheartened by the color of her skin. It's darker than everyone else in her family, and she feels like she's not beautiful, and even though her family tells her, no, you are beautiful, she's like, well, of course, you're supposed to tell me that you're my family. And so she goes on this nighttime adventure and she hears the story of the day and the night, and it's a beautiful story. It really is. But the main message being, beauty is not something that other people can tell you. It comes from within, and you have to believe it yourself for it to be real. And it was gorgeous. I loved it. And the illustrations are stunning. So stunning. So I'm glad I found this one because I didn't even know that Lupita had actually written a picture book. I think that's awesome. So the final picture book is Maybe by Kobi Yamada, who also wrote, what was it? What Do You Do With an Idea? There's 3 books in that particular series and I have all of them, and this is another one, and this was the Nautilus Book Awards winner as well. This is gorgeous. Like, this is so gorgeous. I love Kobi Yamada's work. This one is all about realizing that you have the potential to do anything you want from this very moment. You have everything you need. You have endless possibilities within you, and you are the only person who is like you. And the whole idea that it's important to celebrate that you can do anything. It's so gorgeous, and the illustrations in this are so pretty. I absolutely adored reading this. So beautiful. So I read one of the junior fiction novels. So this is Pow Pow Pig 3 by Anh Doh. Anh Doh is a comedian slash author, artist, etc. Here in Australia. He's honestly awesome. And this book is the 3rd book in a series. I've not actually read the other ones, but there's always a little quick recap at the start of the books so you don't get lost. And this is about the Z Team, who are a collection of animals who work together, and they're trying to save the future. They're traveling in a time machine trying to get to 2030, but in this book they happen to have ended up in the middle of the ocean in 1830, I believe it is. And they are rescued by a traveling circus troupe on a ship, and then that ship is attacked by the purring pirates who kidnap them and try and keep them on an island. It was fun, it was entertaining, little kids would love this. It's really entertaining, the characters are fun, there's circus performances, etc. So thank you very much to Alan and Unwin for sending this one to me. I know that I'm going to have some kids who are very, very excited to read this when I get back to school next term. Okay, the next Anh Doh book I read was Wolf Girl 7. This one is called Crash Course. I haven't read this series for a long time, so I have not read the books in between. I think the last one I read was book 3, but that said, I picked it up pretty easily. It is a middle grade title. It is about Gwen, who as a young girl was separated from her family and then her home was invaded, but while she was lost in the woods, she befriended a wolf pup and a pack of dogs, and they basically became her family. This one did feature a crossover with Anh Doh's other series, The Mythics, who are the characters sort of standing at the top of the page here, and that was really cool to see the crossover. I have read the first of the Mythics books as well, so I was vaguely familiar with the characters. Anh Doh is truly churning out kids books at the moment because he's apparently got 2 other series that I haven't even heard of. Gwen and her pack end up being captured by the enemy and having to escape, and it's a lot of fun. I know so many kids who are in sort of year 3, year 4 who absolutely adore this series, and I can see why. It's very fast paced, very entertaining, and Gwen and her dog pack are very, very lovable, especially Tiny, who is the tiny little chihuahua who is constantly talking to Gwen in the middle of fights, and I was very proud of Tiny when they defeated the enemy. All right, I might be able to do 1 or 2 more books before I wrap up this little kids book vlog. So I also read Spinkle of Sadie. This is 3 books in one, so this is junior fiction, and Sadie loves to bake things, and this one has a story. The first story is about her making a birthday cake for her mum and it going horribly wrong. The second one is about her making cupcakes for a fundraising stall and then they don't sell, so she gets very stressed out. And then their third story is an Easter story where she has a new teacher at school, and the teacher is teaching them how to dye hard-boiled eggs as part of her family tradition, but then the school chickens escape the coup and everything goes a little bit nuts. This one was really fun and cute, and probably something that some of the kids in my class will enjoy reading. I read my last book. It was Teddy & Co by Cynthia Voight, which I've had for ages and have been meaning to read because it was recommended as a good read aloud for younger readers. And this has the feel of a very old-timey classic kids story. So you have Teddy, who sits in a wagon, so I'm assuming that Teddy has no legs, so he has to be taken everywhere in the wagon, and he lives in a community on an island with his friends. So there's an elephant, there is a penguin, apparently there is someone outside beeping their horn, and then there are 2 little pigs as well, and then one day 2 strangers come to their island and they have to learn how to deal with their new found friends, because everyone has very different personalities, everyone gets along or doesn't get along in different ways. And then of course the weather turns rainy and they're stuck inside for days, and that puts pressure on everyone. So it was a very cute story. I liked the characters, but it is a very slow moving middle grade story. Like I said, it has the feel of some of those old time classic kids novels, which is cool to read and is very different to all the other books that I picked up today. Thank you for joining me on my very short impromptu children's reading vlog. I still have a whole stack of middle grade books and junior fiction titles to read, so hopefully I'll do another one of these soon, but I'm very glad to have gotten to these, especially the ones that I have for review. In the comments, I'd love to know if you've read any of these, or if you have a favorite children's book that you like to read. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.